Hi friends, and thanks for clicking on this video. Today I want to try filet crochet. I've never done this before, but from what I understand, it's basically kind of like tapestry crochet, whereas instead of changing colors, you're changing like the number of stitches that you do. I know that typically you do this with like smaller yarn too. So I think I'm going to be using this 3mm hook, and I'm going to be using this thin yarn. I actually have no idea what size or weight this yarn is because obviously the packaging of it has fallen off, but I think this will do for like my very first filet crochet project. But if you guys want to follow along with like my crochet process and me learning something new, then let's get right into the video. So I actually found this tutorial over here on my laptop by Trailer Heaven. She explains the process really well, and the nice thing about this tutorial is that she also teaches you how to make like this really cute border. So honestly, it was kind of easy to learn, especially as someone who like isn't necessarily a crochet beginner. I've also already taken a look at Pinterest and kind of seen the types of crochet things that I want to make. I'll put up some of the ideas that I was thinking of. I think for now, just to try and get started, I'm going to follow a pattern that already exists, but maybe by the end of this video, I'll make my own pattern and make that. That would be really cute. Okay, I'm just scrolling through my Pinterest board again, and I think I'm gonna go with this pattern. So I guess like let's just get started. Okay, we are now on my bed because like, are you really crocheting if you're not crocheting in bed? And I'm going to link the pattern or like the alpha pattern down below, as well as the tutorial if you guys are interested in following along with me. But let's just try making the very first row. This was pretty easy to do. I did the first 2 rows and I'm pretty happy with the results. I think I used kind of a thick hook for this though. I don't like how in the foundation row where it's all supposed to be solid, you can still see quite a lot of gaps still. And I think that's because of my hook size. And then I think I also made the mistake of thinking about this like tapestry crochet, whereas I think I should just think about it like it's its own thing. Because with tapestry crochet, it's literally like pixel art. This stitch is this color, this stitch is that color, whatever. But with filet crochet, you kind of have to think of each individual stitch in relation to the one before it. I don't think that really makes sense, but if you ever try filet crochet, you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. Instead of thinking about it like tapestry crochet, I decided to think about it as though I'm just crocheting a grid. And then in the areas where I want to fill in the grid, I imagine that I'm kind of coloring in that grid with an additional crochet stitch. Again, I don't think that makes much sense, but it makes sense to me in my brain, and that's all that matters. Okay, so it's been about another half hour maybe, and I've crocheted about 6 rows in total. I feel like it's hard to see any like actual pattern when it looks like this, but I imagine once it's finished and it's like in front of a dark background or something, it'll be clearer to see. I also found out that I again was thinking about this wrong because I was thinking about it like tapestry crochet. I was thinking about it in like multiples of 3 because basically each stitch is like it's a double crochet and then a gap and then a double crochet. So I was thinking of it as 1, 2, 3, so multiples of 3. But then I should have been thinking about it in multiples of 2 because in my second row I found out that I had crocheted 2 extra stitches by accident. I don't even know how that happened because in my first row I thought I counted the stitches correctly, so I'm just confused at this point. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know, but again, we're learning. That's why I decided to just follow a pattern for this one instead of just making my own right away. I'm just going to pretty much continue working on the rest of this and show updates as I go, and I'll check back in with you guys when I'm done.
A few moments later.
Guys, as I was crocheting, I just realized I made another mistake in my very second row. Like, this is a mistake I made in my second row that I completely did not notice, and this is actually why I thought my stitches were off when they're not. But in my second row, I crocheted 9 gaps instead of 10, and so now I'm on like what, the 8th or 9th row and I have 2 gaps when I'm supposed to have 3. It's not a big deal. I'm just gonna keep pretending like nothing happened, and just anytime I'm looking at the pattern, I'm just gonna subtract the gap by 1. But yeah, that was a silly mistake for me to make. This is why I wanted to use a pattern that already exists first again, instead of just making my own. But yeah, this is the progress so far. I think I'm gonna give my hands a break. You know, you should be giving your hands a break, especially when you're crocheting with a really thin yarn. I'll check back in with you guys at the end of the day and we can see how much I have done by then. Okay, it is now the next day, and I was like so ready to finish this yesterday, but I ran out of yarn. This is the amount of yarn that I have left, and this is what I had left to like finish on the project, so definitely not enough yarn, unfortunately. This is the amount that I got done. Ugh, it looks so pretty on camera, but unfortunately I don't have enough yarn to finish this, so I think I might just unravel this and completely restart with a smaller project, which is fine because I honestly made so many mistakes in the beginning that I think it's okay to, you know, restart and maybe try with something else. I don't know if I should restart and use a smaller hook size though, because when I look at this on camera, I feel like it actually looks pretty good. But in person, for some reason, the design is actually really hard to see. So I don't know. You can kind of see that I pretty much finished the stem and the flower leaves, but I never got to the petals, unfortunately. So I think I'm just going to have to unravel everything that I worked on. So I've just unraveled it to get ready to restart again. And I think instead this time I'm going to try and do this pattern. It's a little smaller, so this amount of yarn will be enough. And I think it uses like some different techniques that I haven't tried in the first pattern. For example, adding increases and stuff like that. And so I think that'll be nice to learn for when I want to do like my own original pattern. So I've just done a few rows of this other pattern and I already love it. It's so cute. It took me a while to figure out like where I was supposed to do increases and decreases, but I feel like it's turning out pretty cute. The nice thing about this new pattern too is that it's completely symmetrical, so it's kind of easier to keep track of my stitches and know what I'm doing correctly. But yeah, I will check back in once I am finished. I had some trouble with the heart shape and figuring out how to like do increases and decreases, but I eventually got the hang of it. I definitely would not recommend doing filet crochet while you're distracted. I tried doing it while watching anime and I could not read the subtitles and focus on the pattern at the same time. I did run out of yarn when making the border, so I did want to make another round of the border, which was a little thicker, as you can see in the pattern here, but it is what it is. I am just glad that I finished it. Here it is. I think it looks really cute and I'm honestly really happy with it. The size of the hook and the yarn I think turned out really well in this pattern. So now that I got the hang of that, the next step is for me to make something for myself using filet crochet. Future Mila here interrupting. So I was eventually able to make my own filet crochet project where I made my own pattern, but that section of the video just took way too long. So I decided to just split it in half, where in this section I'm learning filet crochet as you saw, and in the next section it's going to be me making my own pattern. If you're interested in watching that, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next upload. And on top of that, I was able to find this really pretty thin purple yarn that I was able to use for the filet crochet project you saw in this video. It worked out perfectly and I think it turned out really cute and I'm really happy with it. I would say that this was a success overall despite having to restart so many times. But that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!